Good morning, grade 7s. Welcome to another beautiful day. This is WorksheetCloud and I am Mrs. Hall and I am going to be teaching you grade 7 natural sciences today. Today's lesson is on non-renewable and renewable sources of energy. And there is no objectives of the lesson because basically we're just going to get straight into what renewable and non-renewable energy is. So let's start off with what is energy. So as you know, energy is needed to make everything work. We cannot see energy, we cannot hold it in our hands, so it's actually quite difficult to say exactly what energy is. In the world of science, we say energy is the ability or the capacity to do work. As you know, our bodies need energy to move and grow. And where do we get that energy from? The food we eat. Cars need energy to drive along a road. Where do they get that energy from? Let's take a look. As you all know, nothing can happen without energy. So our energy resources, if we take a look over here, how many different ways do we generate electricity here in South Africa? Take a look at these pictures over here and it should give you some kind of clue. So until the 1700s, we basically depended on water, wind, and animals to power all of our machines to get everything we needed to live our lifestyles. We relied on wood for cooking and heating, plus smelly whale oil lamps or animal fat for candles to light up our homes. Since then, we have increasingly used fossil fuels to power vehicles, heat our homes, and to generate electricity. We have coal, we have refined oil, we have natural gas, and all for this. It now comes through our power lines and into our homes. So to generate electricity, this is from your grade 6 curriculum. It's usually produced using a turbine generator, as you can see over here. It turns, and this in turn generates energy in the form of electricity, which is taken to the national grid and is fed through the power lines to our consumers, that is us. We consume this electricity, especially to charge our devices, our cell phones and our computers. So there you have it. Something turns a turbine, the steam, the magnet inside the coil of wire is what is happening inside of the generator, and then electricity is generated and distributed to the people who need it. So in South Africa at the moment, these are the stats I managed to find for us. Almost 91.2% of the South African economy or the South Africa's electricity is generated using fossil fuels. And here you can see it in the pie chart. That is our fossil fuel use, and these are the other things we use to generate electricity. But fossil fuels, grade 7s, are non-renewable. Okay? Our reserves will soon run out. And burning them releases lots of carbon dioxide. So we need alternatives. We need to come up with other options. As you know, the world is facing an energy crisis. I think South Africa a little bit more at the moment with all our blackouts, but as you know, the global population is increasing. Many countries are becoming more industrialized, and there's a high demand for energy resources. We have finite reserves of fossil fuels, and low supply means high prices and more conflict as we fight for them. The use of fossil fuels is blamed for global warming. So generally, we are in crisis. Non-renewable energy, fossil fuels like coal, natural gas and oil, are burned in power stations to produce electricity. And when this happens, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor and other gases are produced. These gases are the causes of several environmental problems, like I mentioned earlier, blamed for global warming. So, in South Africa, we are very lucky to have a nuclear power station, grade 7s. So, it's called Koeberg, and it's the only nuclear power station in South Africa. It is currently the only one on the entire African continent. It's located 30 kilometers north of Cape Town, near Melkbosstrand. For those of you who've driven out to the west coast, you've probably seen it. Okay, Koeberg is owned and operated by the country's only national electricity supplier, yes, Eskom. Uranium is used as the fuel in a nuclear power plant, and nuclear power plants generate power by causing a controlled fission chain reaction using uranium. 1 kilogram of uranium can produce as much energy as 1,500 tons of coal. That is quite a huge amount. So here I have a diagram just giving you a quick overview. The nuclear energy is the energy in the nucleus over here, the core of an atom. In nuclear fission, the atoms are split apart to form smaller atoms, releasing energy. And the nuclear power plants use nuclear fission to produce this electricity. I have a little video clip for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Fossil fuels are non-renewable energy resources. These are coal, oil, and natural gas. They were formed from the remains of living organisms millions of years ago, and they release heat energy when they're burned. This heat is used to turn water into steam, which is used to turn a turbine, which then drives a generator to generate electricity. This is the standard model for a power station. There are downsides, however. Fossil fuels release sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide, which leads to acid rain and an increase in global warming. Another form of non-renewable energy is nuclear. The main nuclear fuels are uranium and plutonium. The nuclei of these large atoms are split in a process called nuclear fission to release a great deal of heat. The heat energy is again used to boil water. The kinetic energy in the expanding steam spins turbines, which then drive generators to produce electricity. Unlike fossil fuels, nuclear fuels do not produce carbon or sulfur dioxide. However, they do have the risk of a fault where large amounts of radioactive material could be released into the environment, such as the disaster of Chernobyl in 1986.
So, just a quick little recap there for you on non-renewable energy. So, fossil fuels took millions of years to develop and only a minute to burn. As you can see what's happening here in our power stations behind these lovely little animals who say you humans have learned to make energy by using fossil fuels, but you literally can burn it away in minutes. You must remember that once they've been taken from the earth, that's it. They are gone. Unless you're going to wait around a few more million years for more to be made. There will come a time when we can't find any more, and then that is when we have a huge problem. So the thing is, crude oil is vital, okay, for making all sorts of useful plastics and even medicines. So it's not necessarily such a good idea to keep burning it. Eventually, the world is going to run out of gas. The tap will run dry. So the way forward, grade 7, what do we need? We need biomass. We need hydroelectric energy. We need solar. We need wave. We need wind. These are all renewable sources of energy, and renewable will never run out, and they can be used again and again. So let's take a look. As long as the sun still shines, renewable energy will always be around. Electricity is generated in the same way by both renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. They all contain a turbine, which when turned, turns a generator, and that generates the electricity. If you look at a wind farm over here, there we have our wind farm, generates electricity to the transformer, to our pylons, to our substations, and into our homes. What is wind energy? So wind energy can make things move. As you know, when the wind blows, that's wind energy. So a long time ago, people used windmills to make flour. Remember those big old windmills that you see when you visit like the Netherlands? Today, big wind turbines work in the same way, but they use wind to generate the electricity. And over here you can see the wind spins the rotor blades. Over here, those are called the rotor blades, huge blades that you can see there. When the rotor blades spin, they turn a machine inside the top of the turbine called the generator over there. And as the generator spins, it makes electricity. The electricity then runs along the power cables to our homes and to our other buildings. And again, you can often see wind power out near the coast because that's where the wind blows. For those of you that live in Cape Town, there are wind power farms in Cape Town. So, as you know, the wind turbines will always blow because the wind will always blow. And that's a good way to generate electricity. It's renewable. Another renewable source is solar power. So this house has solar panels here on the roof. You can see them. When the sun's light shines on the panels, they turn the light into electricity. And that electricity also runs along cables, and we use it to power lights, computers, and TVs in our home. Some of you might already have solar panels on your roof, especially because we've had so many issues with blackouts and not getting electricity readily available. So we've had to look at alternative sources. And a good one is to have solar panels on your roof because the sun always shines and it can change sunlight energy into electrical energy. Right. Hydroelectric, hydro meaning water. Over here you can see this picture shows a reservoir over here and a dam here has a huge concrete wall, and this wall holds the water back. And then there are gates over here, and when these gates are opened to let the water come through, the water comes down over here and the water turns machines that make electricity and generates electricity and spins that turbine. So, another form of renewable energy is biomass energy over here. The farmer plants the trees to make fuel. He first cuts the young trees to make small little wood chips, which we can burn, and then the dry wood chips are used to make steam, which can be used to make electricity. As soon as the trees are cut down, the farmer plants new trees, so this kind of fuel never runs out. Again, plants will always grow. As long as the sun is shining and there's photosynthesis, plants will always grow, and we will always have tree energy production for biomass. So look at this diagram over here. Can you see that? It's in the middle of the ocean. Take a wild guess what this is and where I'm going to. Yes, this machine can use the power of the tides to make electricity. So when the tides go in or out, the water pushes the blades round and round, and when the blades turn, that works a generator which makes electricity. And as you know, the waves will always be waves. There will always be influx and outflux, the flow in and out of the waves, and those will drive generators to make electricity. And this is just another kind of wave turbine under the ocean, and also movement causes the generators to create electricity. Right. One last little video clip for you, just to put it all into perspective for you. It's a relatively easy section of grade 7 natural science because you have been learning about renewable and non-renewable resources from grade 5 already. So just sit back, relax, enjoy this little video clip, and let's get into more detailed content tomorrow when we look at potential and kinetic energy. Okay, let's start this little video.
Around the world, renewable energy use is on the rise. And these alternative energy sources could hold the key to combating climate change. What is renewable energy? Renewable energy is generated from sources that naturally replenish themselves and never run out. The most common sources are solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, and biomass. Over 80% of the total energy consumed by humans is derived from fossil fuels. However, renewables are the fastest growing source of energy in the world. Renewable energy has many benefits. First, it can combat climate change because it creates no direct greenhouse gas emissions. The only emissions that they produce are indirect, meaning those that result from manufacturing parts, installation, operation, and maintenance. But even those are minimal. Second, renewable energy can decrease pollution and therefore reduce threats to our health. Wind, solar, and hydroelectric systems create no air pollution emissions, and geothermal and biomass energy systems emissions are much lower than non-renewable energy sources. Third, renewable energy is a reliable source of power. Because renewable energy sources are, well, renewable, they will never run out. Once built, renewable facilities cost very little to operate, and the fuel is often free. As a result, renewable energy prices tend to be stable over time. While renewable energy has many advantages, it is not without downsides. It is difficult for renewable energy sources to generate power on the same large scale as fossil fuels. Building wind farms and dams can disrupt wildlife and migration patterns and lead to ecological destruction. Both solar and wind energy are intermittent. They only generate power while the sun is shining or while the wind is blowing. Batteries can store excess energy for later use. However, they are often costly. While renewable energy presents some challenges, it also offers an environmentally friendly alternative to the greenhouse gas emissions and pollution of fossil fuels. And as advances in technology make renewable energy more accessible, affordable, and efficient, an end to climate change could be within our reach.
Thanks, grade 7, for watching. I'm pretty sure most of you already knew that content, but hopefully you had it all coming back to you as I reminded you about renewable and non-renewable energy. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and get busy with that homework sheet that you can download. And just remember, if you can't answer all the questions at the same today, then I might cover some of that content in tomorrow's lesson. Enjoy, have a great day, and remember to be kind.